Hey everyone, Coach Brian here, back with another Overwatch 2 video. This time, we'll be going over the tank role. It's actually funny, I used to despise playing tank, but I've been having a blast tanking within the game now. The change from Overwatch 1 of going from 2 tanks on a team to 1 really makes you feel important with every move that you make. That being said, your moves have got to be good ones. By the end of this lesson, you will understand what is expected of you as a tank player, how to be a good tank player, and which characters excel in which scenarios. For a quick warm-up, hop into the training grounds and choose any tank of your choosing. For simplicity's sake of understanding the basics, I'd recommend choosing anyone other than Doomfist, Junker Queen, and Wrecking Ball. Play around with their abilities for 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't like someone's abilities, go to spawn and try someone else. Remember, you can press F1 when in the hero select screen or in-game to read what everything the character has to offer. Within the tank role, there are so many different playstyles and different loadouts, you'll be bound to find someone you vibe with. For example, my personal favorite tank is Orisa. Just like we talked about in our damage role video, it's important to know that even within the tank role, there are subsets of tanks. The first type are more defensive characters such as Reinhardt or Sigma, whose main job is to block and absorb oncoming damage to protect their teams. Secondly, there are brawler type tanks whose job is to actually get or assist your team in getting picks to help snowball a fight into a win. Characters like Junker Queen, Orisa, and Roadhog are great examples of this. Doomfist can also be classified as this, but he's definitely unique. He's been changed so many times between Overwatch 1 and the patch that is out today, he's in a weird place. Finally, there are characters that have a good mix of both roles but don't excel super hard in either. D.Va, Zarya, and Winston, and our newest character, Ramattra, fall into this category. All of these tanks can deal out some serious damage if set up correctly, but also have the capabilities to absorb some damage in some type of way. Pick a character within 3 of these archetypes and play around in the practice range for 15 minutes. Try and stick within your chosen archetype. Swap between Orisa and Junker Queen, for example, but not between Reinhardt and Roadhog. Think about how these characters, even within their archetype, differ. For instance, Junker Queen's survivability comes from her shout offering green over health and speed. While Orisa also can give herself green over health, she instead becomes unmovable. Both are in the same archetype of being a brawler, but do the job differently. This will help you understand the chosen playstyle better. On to our second drill, and this is the one that is the most mechanically important. We are going to talk about positioning. Realistically, positioning is a very important thing to understand within all roles, but as a tank player, your positioning literally sets up everyone else's positioning as well as the pace of the match. You need to know when to push, when to fall back, or when to turn around and help your team from a diving Genji, for example. 9 out of 10 times you should be in front. Tanks have the highest health pool and due to this have the most survivability in the game. That being said, some are just more overall tankier than others. For instance, Junker Queen by herself is actually quite squishy, which means that she can be killed quite fast. But you can use her shift ability, Shout, to give her and her teammates movement speed and greened over health. While this is effective, it's important to know it doesn't last forever and might be better used as an escape or a save tool. Another very common misplay is from Reinhardt players. How many of you have ever seen a Reinhardt just seemingly charge into the enemy team of 5 and die? I'd be surprised to hear someone say they haven't. While charging into a person and pinning them can normally one-shot most of the cast, this isn't always the best idea. Before making a decision, think, even if I get a kill by doing this, does this jeopardize my team? Just knowing when to use the Reinhardt charge is golden. Using it when an enemy overextends or when they are close to a wall that wouldn't make yourself overextend, then that is perfectly fine. But if you charge in and make too much of a gap, this jeopardizes your team by making your team have to push up into an unfavorable position. Even just pushing around a corner can make the difference of your supports having to jeopardize their positioning for your sake. Play 3 matches with any tank character and keep your positioning in the forefront of your mind. If you find yourself dying first, something is wrong. Perhaps you were too far up or you went around a corner to where your support couldn't see you. If you find your supports or DPS dying first, something is also wrong. Is the enemy Roadhog snatching your DPS or supports while you are trying to get a pick? Focus on countering that hog first. Pay attention to where you are in accordance to both your team and the enemy. You might need to help protect them rather than go for a pick. Is that stingy Tracer or Genji diving your backline? Give them a nice hook or javelin to the face if you are playing Hog or Orisa. If you are D.Va, use your defense matrix to absorb incoming damage, or drop a bubble if you are Winston. Quickly turning around to deal with the Mosquito can turn the fight into a 4v5 before the enemy tank was even able to do anything. Additionally, if fights are taking too long, try and get a pick to increase your chances of winning the fight. Wait for opportunities with the enemy support or DPS to make a mistake, then pounce on them. It's okay to have a stalemate for a while. If you have to, retreat or push as little as you can to give your team an advantageous position with high ground. This will then increase your DPS's chances of getting an elimination. Now that you have a good understanding of which characters excel in each scenario and how to position, I want to break down the best tank characters. Right now, in high level play, there is almost a triangle of tanks that counter each other. Currently within this meta of Overwatch 2, Roadhog is an absolute menace. His ability to pick off pretty much any member of the cast with a hook and a blast to the face is exceedingly strong. I do want to note here that as of now, there is a high possibility Roadhog is going to get nerfed here relatively soon. Now, you may ask, well Brian, if Roadhog is so good, what can I even do? The answer is everyone's favorite horse robot, Orisa. The Defender of Numbani's kit is surprisingly good against specifically countering a Roadhog. Did a teammate get hooked? Use your Javelin to push the Hog away. Don't have your Javelin throw? Use your Javelin spin and run into the Hog to block the shotgun blast. Orisa's high survivability is also a good benefit against Roadhog as compared to, say, Winston. Orisa doesn't die as fast to Reapers or Roadhog shotguns due to her amazing Fortify ability. Our last tank, Ramatra, is a strange one as he neither excels nor gets countered by Orisa or Roadhog exceedingly, but is just a good overall solid pick. He has high survivability in his defense mode to outlive shotguns for a while, and can deal out some crazy damage. Additionally, his ult is very good. It's pretty much, we are going to push the enemy team away from the objective, or we are going to get a team kill if they don't run type of ult. Junker's Queen's Shout or Lucio's Speed Boost normally isn't even enough to assist in a team running away from his ult. Play matches using only Roadhog, Orisa, or Ramatra until you get 3 wins or 5 losses in competitive matches. After each match, be it a win or a loss, jump out of queue for a moment and write down how each fight in that game went. Look at the replay and critique yourself if you need to. Sometimes seeing yourself play from another angle will highlight as to why you died. In the heat of the moment, you might have thought, my Ana didn't heal me, when in reality, you just went too far around a corner and she couldn't see you anymore. Mark down the first mistake a player made which made their team lose a fight. Did an enemy DPS get too antsy and your team caught them out? That's awesome. Did your support get picked off by an Ashe or a Widowmaker? Not so awesome. Just try and analyze if the reason you lose a fight is because of you or something you could have done better. The reason behind playing competitive is to get a good idea of what it's like to play these characters in a match where people actually take it seriously. As I've stated before, Overwatch is all about counterpicking, and tanks are no different. If you're playing Roadhog while the enemy team has an Ana, you probably aren't going to have a good time. Ana's biotic grenades makes characters unable to gain health, so your reliance on your inhale ability will be limited to next to nothing. This counter can also be countered by your team having a Kiriko, as Suzu can nullify the biotic grenade. But, if I were you, I wouldn't rely on a random Kiriko player to babysit you the entire game. As I've said before, I love to play Orisa, and man is it annoying to play against a Winston. He can dive my team and I'm just too slow to get back to them. Usually I'd be able to Javelin to knock a diving enemy away, but Winston's bubble blocks my Javelin. Additionally, Orisa's spin that absorbs bullets does not absorb his electric gun, so again, he shuts her down. It is an aggravating counter pick, but hey, that's what the game's all about. I hope you've all enjoyed this video and I appreciate you all for watching. I'm Coach Brian signing off. Good luck in your matches and I hope to see you next time when I go over the support role.